All right, so welcome to Lightworkers Secrets to Success. I'm here with Amanda and Einar. Einar is in California, Amanda's in Seattle, and I'm up here in Vancouver. And today we're talking with Einar, who has a lot of firsthand knowledge and has done a lot of research into Hollow Earth and how it works so I'll let you take it away. So why don't you maybe give us a brief introduction of who you are, maybe your background, and some of the other amazing things that you're into, and then we'll dive right into, Hollow Earth.
Yes, we can do that. I am born in Scandinavia, more correctly, Norway, in 1967, and my early life started with a lot of health issues because I really screwed up a lot of things with sugar and potato chips and Snickers and all that kind of stuff that people from America is very familiar with.
Uh,
But I did it so much that it became a real problem when I was 10 years old till I was around 19 and a half. And my parents had zero clue about what I was addicted to because I was very good with hiding what I was doing. I think I drank like half a gallon of Coca-Cola per day in periods.
Oh my goodness,
That's
that's
pretty bad.
yes.
So when I was 19 and a half, then I had, since I was 18 or something, in the hay fever season in Norway, I
Uh,
coughed from 1st of April till the end of September
wow.
nonstop. And then I
Wow.
coughed up blood from the esophagus slash lungs.
Wow.
And I had severe eczema and stuff like that over the more, what should I say, vulnerable places of the body, so to say.
Hmm.
And they used in the hay fever season 200 tissue papers per day.
Wow.
And then when I was 13 or 14 or something like that, I took my last vaccine crap, and that caused three big inflammations. One was in my outer elbow,
Mhm.
and the doctors had to cut with knife to get the pus out. And the same happened on one of my butt cheeks. And the
Wow.
third one swelled up the one side of the face so it became like a balloon. I couldn't
Mm.
Wow.
recognize myself.
Wow.
So it was kind of serious stuff, but one thing led to the other. Now I told you in the opposite direction in a way.
And
But
that
when
was
I
all because
was,
of that was all like diet related. That's what they said.
yeah, it was because of intake of excess sugar and that kind of stuff. But there was a more hidden thing behind that stuff. There was an emotional thing behind it, but that I didn't understand yet. So I can wait with telling that.
Hmm.
But there was uh, yeah, it was actually an emotional thing related to. I was born Catholic,
Hmm.
and when you go to the Catholic Church, you it's not your favorite thing to be in those places. So I kind of took sugar to lift myself up after being in the Catholic setting that I didn't enjoy.
Hmm.
So when you took the sugar, you got a spike in energy, and then it fell down like from heaven to hell. After an hour or two, and then you had to continue doing it over and over again. It became like
Hmm.
real drugs, actually.
Hmm.
But I didn't understand any of that stuff in those years,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
when I was 19 and a half, I was recommended to go to a health food store, and I didn't even know what a health food store was at that time.
Hmm.
But I went there, and there I met an herbalist, and the herbalist knew an old wizard, and the old wizard knew how to measure the wavelengths behind the human organs, behind the chakra system, behind the nervous system, and so on. And then he found the corresponding wavelengths within the herbal kingdom and put them together as they matched the health issues that people were dealing with at that time in my home country. So this is about 38 years ago, when I was about 20, and and then I started use his treatments. I eliminated orange juice and anything sugar, and started using his herbs plus bee pollen and ginseng, because my adrenals were very, very weak. So after using those herbs, they cured me for everything after half a year of using them.
Wow.
So that led me on a new path. But in the
Yeah.
beginning of that path, I didn't understand that I could educate myself in this field.
Mhm.
So I started to go to college, and then the college was just for me to prove to myself that I could fulfill and the education, yes. So, but afterwards, when I was finished with that education, I don't know how much detail you want. Do you want me to go into all that kind of
Sure.
stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give
Yeah,
us a
okay.
background.
Yeah, when I started, finished with the education, then I applied for some jobs. And I was offered two jobs on the same day, and offered one interview on the same day as well. The thing is, I said yes to the first one that came to me because I was a little bit low on cash and all that kind of stuff. So I said yes, and then the one I really wanted came in later that day. So then I had to go back to the first one and cancel my yes to them, and then I started working for Helios. And Helios was at that time a company that was based on Rudolf Steiner's teaching, more esoteric teachings, similar to Theosophy, if you have heard of that.
I have, yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So you can say in those years he launched an alternative version to the Theosophical Society that Madame Blavatsky came up with earlier.
Hmm.
So he launched a lot of pretty many impulses. One was related to the Waldorf school, that often in Europe is called Steiner school, and also anthroposophy, which was another version of theosophy, you can say, but he had his view on it. And he, for example, I remember in 1917, he wrote a script about what we experienced here in the world in 2020, in March 2020, when that pandemic hit.
Mhm.
And excuse me, I can't use the word pandemic because,
I don't think anyone can.
yeah, I have to use pandemic because that's what it is,
Uh-huh.
or that's what it was. So,
And I think
what can I
that's
say?
right when we had a conversation right around there or right before the pandemic actually hit.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, 2019 was a year before, because unless it wasn't the end of the year, but the pandemic hit in March 2020, I think, with some precursors prior to it
Mhm.
Hmm.
that came in the beginning of the year, January, February, or something like that, I think.
Yeah, because you were one of the first people that joined our Q group on Facebook.
Oh, oh, okay.
Yeah, you were one of
Yes, yes, that's right.
hmm
I actually
Absolutely.
think it was just us four. We're like, let's just, all share this knowledge all together. And then it just grew and grew and grew as we
Yeah,
invited
so
more.
those four, with that, those the two of you plus
Yeah.
Lori.
That's
Yeah.
Lori, yeah. And you had been posting quite a bit of things with Lori. And I
Yeah.
guess you and Lori had been going back and forth, and then so we created a group, me, Lori, and Amanda, and then Lori added you in, and then we all started sharing all the information that we were digging up as quickly as we could, and then all of a sudden it just grew to, I don't know how many people are in there now, but
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I am the Q group. The thing is, the Q group is a little bit interesting because my wife's nickname is Q.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then also she and me, we met on the 1st of October online.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
And then we tried to stay in my home country first, and that
Hmm.
didn't work out of several reasons, but without me going into that.
Uh-huh.
Um, we decided after had tried to make it work out in Norway for 7 months or something. Then we decided to move to America, and I managed to get my green card in 2 days after the application was sent in, and that's kind of unheard of.
Hmm.
Wow. We need
Wow.
to know how to do that.
Huh?
I said, we need to know how to do that.
Yeah, it was. You just have to do it the right way. If you do it the wrong way, it takes 3 to 5 years. Yeah. So, but that's another thing. Um, that's another off topic, I think. Yeah, but yeah. Oh well. So
Well, and
where
then
am I
I know
now?
you and I then got talking about, kind of your experiences into, your research into Hollow Earth and kind of everything along those lines. And, you were talking in length about that, and you really intrigued me last time we had spoke. And so I just thought it would be kind of good for you to maybe go through, you know, all of your knowledge with Hollow Earth.
Yeah, I can do that. So, yeah, it started in, as I maybe mentioned, back in 2011, and um, and I found a place online that was called Hollow Earth Network, and that website does not exist under that name anymore, but it has changed its name to Zora of HollowEarth.com.
Zora.
Yeah, Sora, like Zoro, the sword fighter.
Uh-huh.
Instead of an O in the end, it is an A in the end of Sora.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so he has back in, I think it was 1951 or something like that. He asked his son, which is his name is Saraya, I think, but he called in our world he called himself Billy Fay Woodard. And the father Sora asked him if he wanted to come to the surface of the earth. That means where we are.
Hmm.
And he said yes to that.
Oh, wow.
And he and his twin sister was left by a spaceship from the Hollow Earth in
Hmm.
a park in Texas when they were turned back in to a toddler state or something.
Mm.
But he was technically 1,500 years old when he was turned into a toddler uh, boy, so to say. And his twin sister was the same age as him, so she was also turned into a toddler age in a park and left in a park in Texas.
Hmm.
And there was a military officer. I think he was a higher ranked military,
Mm.
and this military one was in charge of some higher ups in Area 51 in Nevada.
Hmm.
So when he grew up with his father and stuff like that, um, he was he had very very advanced skills compared to us that lives here on the surface. So he were put into a colonel state at the age of 12 years old, and that's kind of unheard of,
Hmm.
you know.
Mhm.
And the thing was with his sister, um, they in the Area 51 they wanted to do experiments on her, and that was not what they wanted, of course, because you never know what they will do when they do these experiments.
Yeah.
Because when you have extreme extrasensory perception abilities, so to say, it can very easily be misused.
Hmm.
So they managed to get her out and picked up by and teleported into a spaceship and brought into Hollow Earth into safety again.
Oh, okay.
So
she went back.
Huh?
So she went back. The twin sister went back, but how long was she here for?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
okay.
I guess she was like 11, 12 or something like that.
So, okay. Maybe like a decade.
Yeah. Pardon?
She was here for about a decade, maybe then.
Yeah, something like that. But I take that statement with a grain of salt because I'm
Long
not sure. But
long
so
enough
this.
to know she wanted to go back.
Pardon?
Is it long enough to know she wanted to go back?
Yeah, she had to, because if she didn't go back, she would maybe not survive.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you never know what they can do in those facilities.
Yeah.
Human experiments of all kinds. It can be
Yeah.
not a very good thing. But so yeah, so you can read about his story too on the Sora of HollowEarth.com
Hmm.
if you want to go and check it out when you have some time.
Yeah, I just posted a link in the chat, so.
Yeah, so let me see. Now he is still a little kid, and I think it was in 2011, early 2011 or something, that Soraya decided to come online through the website I mentioned earlier called Hollow Earth Network. And what was the name of the lady who was running it? She passed away around, I think it was 2016, 2017, because I went to see her in her home there I think she lived in Tucson area before she passed away at that time. And that's when they converted their website to Sora of Hollow Earth. But it was the same kind of things. But many of the recordings in the period from 2011 to 2016, I got it through DVD sets that you could listen to them,
Hmm.
because they didn't exist anymore after they took down that website.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I have many of them.
I see on the site they converted a lot of things into MP3s. I think her name
Yes,
is Sarah Aya. Sarah Aya?
Soraya.
Sora.
Saraya?
Yes, Soraya, I think, is the
Saraya.
one that is in charge of it. Soraya and Jane.
Okay.
Yeah, they are the one. So Soraya is the son of Sora. So
And do they, like, I know you said they're in Area 51 and kind of Nevada area. Did they do a lot of their traveling through the underground tunnels to get to Hollow Earth, or how do they get to Hollow Earth? Is it
yeah,
located
you can
North Pole?
in the whole inner Earth. Do you know? Did I tell you what the inner Earth was compared to the Hollow Earth?
I think maybe explain it. I remember you going into detail about it before.
Yeah, you can say, if you see that the Earth is like a hollow sphere. The Earth the Earth crust is 800 miles thick. And then in the center of the crust, that is like 400 miles below your and my feet,
Hmm.
and 400 miles below the feet of the people who resides in the hollow earth. So we are kind of foot to foot in a way, with a crust that is 800 miles in between us, so to say. And then in the middle there, you have the lava flow, which is the magnetism of of the of the earth. And
Okay.
the sun is the electricity.
And how does one, if one ever wanted to go to Hollow Earth, is it possible for someone?
Yeah, I will come to that.
Okay.
It is possible, yes, but it is not an easy thing to do. But there is what do you call it, tunnels that goes underneath Mount Shasta, no, not Mount Shasta, underneath in the earth crust, that goes pretty much to all the cities of United States and also in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing is, to get access to them is not necessarily that easy. But it's maybe that is a misconception because I have not had the time and energy to go in and use the little methods I have to see if I can find it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do not want to do that alone. I want to do that with someone that I trust, so we can
Mm-hmm.
do it together. I think is a safer way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the way to do it is these tunnels is normally located under hotels in the
Mm-hmm.
bigger cities. But which hotel, I do not know.
Mm.
The only one I have got feedback on that is specific, that is the I think it is the Chrysler Building in New York. There is one, and when you go to the bottom of the building, then you go and click on the bottom the bottom for the bottom of the elevator
Mm-hmm.
2 times, and then it'll go further down.
Mm.
So that is something you can try, but you have to kind of maybe work with the pendulum or some kind of muscle testing to find out which hotels that is actually which actually is the real one, if
Mm.
that makes
Well, I
sense.
know Tesla was big into the Chrysler Hotel.
I don't think that was the Chrysler Building.
No?
I think it was another one. I think it was the New Yorker.
Okay. I thought he had a lot to do with the Chrysler Building and he was obsessed with it for some reason.
Yeah, that I think is probably correct. I do not know that, but that may be the case because he probably, if he he was the one he was, so he had to have knowledge of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think I think it was the New Yorker or something, and that would
I think he lived in the New Yorker, but he was
yes,
really obsessed with the Chrysler Building and he conducted a lot of experiments in the Chrysler Building.
yeah, that may be the case. Yeah, so is maybe because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you can say more older hotels that has been there for a while is probably where they are. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that could be kind of cool to check out. You can probably do it in Vancouver too.
Yeah, there should be some in Vancouver.
Yes. How far did we come? Yes, now he is. We are back to 2011, and they started to, release talks every 2 weeks and sometimes every week too, where where Saraya and the one that was starting up with the Hollow Earth Network,
Mhm.
she would channel Sora's wife or partner, and Saraya would not channel, but let Sora come through him. So it is not the channeling that they are doing; they actually flip their identity, flip bodies, so to say. So Saraya will be Sora, and Sora will be Saraya.
Hmm. That's interesting.
That is like the same thing as if you and me should flip, I will go into your body and you come into my body. But I don't know how to do it. So
That's interesting.
yeah, so then so that means that Saraya will be in the body that is where Sora left it, and that can be swimming with dolphin and outside of Hawaii. It can be on a spaceship in the hollow entrance on the North Pole,
Hmm. Wow.
so to say. So it can be anywhere.
Hmm.
So he doesn't know that himself before he gets there.
Hmm.
But
That's
Sora
interesting.
knows, of course, because he is in charge of the body.
Hmm.
But Sora and his wife, he claims he is the entity that we, in biblical terms, name Father, Mother, God.
Hmm.
the creator of this galaxy. But technically you can say all is created by source slash prime creator,
Hmm.
and then you have Father, Mother, God just below them in the hierarchy, if you can call it a hierarchy. There is maybe not a hierarchy, I don't know. So um, so yeah, so the whole Milky Way galaxy, they were asked by Source to create the Milky Way galaxy with him and his team. So it's a very advanced beings,
Hmm.
and and yeah, over the years there's just been a lot of calls where they have shared how the Earth, all the planets are working, and so if we start then with a hollow Earth, you can say, I mentioned that the crust and the inner Earth. So inner Earth is the caverns inside of the crust of the Earth, and they can vary in sizes up to the size of Texas.
Wow, crazy.
That is pretty massive.
Hmm.
So and there is, as we mentioned, talked about earlier, there is tunnels in the Earth crust that can go connect the whole Earth together.
Hmm.
And when you go into one of those, you can pretty much travel to Europe in, I think it's like 5-10 minutes or something. So it's extremely quick.
Yeah, I think it's 45 minutes through the magnetic tunnels that they have. And it's like a giant train. Looks like a train almost,
It
but
is like a train, yes.
yeah. And they have like it's like a vacuum sealed tube that just operates off of magnetics. And
But are you now talking about those that is made by the Cabal, or those that is made by the Hollow Earthians, so to say?
I think both. I mean, the Kabbalions had tried to duplicate it, and I mean they did it to an extent, but the Hollow Earthians, I mean they have like ultra fast technology that, can move so much faster than what they
Exactly.
were. Yeah.
Exactly. So the thing is, I think those that goes 45 minutes is probably Cabal made.
Hmm.
And those that is by the Holy Earthians is like 5 or 10 minutes or something. Is extremely fast. But
Hmm.
also, when you can when you sit down in a chair or some kind of whatever you sit in when you are on those trains, I'm pretty sure that when you sit down in that chair, your body will convert to a light body or something.
Hmm.
Because when you go on an jet fighter and you go faster than the speed of sound or something like that, you get a pretty darn poof, like you get really shocked, so to say,
Yeah.
because of the pressure.
Yeah, the G forces on your
The
body.
G-force, yes, is insane. So that must be, if you go in 5 minutes to there, you have to turn your body into a kind of a light body state that and turn
Hmm.
back again when you leave that chair.
Hmm.
There must be some kind of thing, but they haven't shared that information as far as I know. But if not, it won't work, I think.
Hmm.
That is also the same as those what should I say, the UFO kind of things.
Hmm.
That comes from Pleiades or Andromeda or Hollow Earth or Inner Earth and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You have to be able to do the same thing in those vessels as well. So where are we now? Yeah, and then in the Hollow Earth, you can say there the vibration is so high that you technically do not need to go to the bathroom, for example, because the food you eat is digested 100% and absorbed 100%.
Hmm.
But you still eat food if you want to, but you don't have to.
Hmm. Because everything,
And huh?
the environment in your body is like in complete harmony, is it not?
Yes, it is in complete balance and harmony, and it is perfect actually.
Hmm.
So so the main hub there, you can call it, you have heard of the Garden of Eden.
Hmm.
That is in the Hollow Earth, and that is called the City of Eden there.
Hmm.
So it's a very high vibrational location, and
And how
everything there.
many and how many habitants are there? Like, is it millions or hundreds of millions, or how many
I
people are
do
in
not know, but I know that in underneath Mount Shasta in California and Mount Lassen in California, there, those that rescued into there, that was the few survivors of from the drowning of Lemuria. You know about Lemuria?
it? Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, good. Yes, there was the on that continent that was underneath um, the Pacific Ocean. Um, yeah, there was 300 million people that passed away in one night
Hmm.
when the oceans came down from the sky 13,000 years ago. I think that happened in two or three times, at least two.
Yeah, and didn't the continent of Lemuria then move outside of the ice wall where the ice wall is into like it kind of formed a different continent like outside of.
No, I will come to that too. I will explain that
Okay.
as but my explanation is you have to be aware of it's just my understanding. It is some of the stuff is it's like when you hear it from a little bit from here and a little bit from there,
Hmm.
then you kind of start to put together the dots,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's how you figure it out.
Hmm.
Yes, and back in those before those cataclysms happened, all the oceans, which at that time was fresh water, was stored above the stratosphere of the earth
Hmm.
and worked like it was called the firmaments
Hmm.
or the firmament,
Hmm.
and that covered the whole earth around the earth like a greenhouse.
Hmm.
So and it was fresh water frozen, and then there was some beings on the of the continent of Atlantis. They were more little kind of conqueror kind of people, and then you had the people living on the bottom of on the in Lemuria, those so to say,
Hmm.
and the Atlanteans wanted to take over the Lemurian area,
Hmm.
and so they tried to drill in under the ground and all kinds of stuff, and they sent up laser beams in the stratosphere and cracked one third or a half of the firmament 13,000 years ago and drowned those 300 million people. And only 25,000 of them survived, and they went in underneath Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen in California, where they live to this day. And now I think I remember they said that it has multiplied to 1.5 million underneath the mountains there.
Wow.
Yeah, but this is over 13,000 years.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and then 1,000 years later, 12,000 years ago, they did the same again, and then they drowned the what we today call the Atlantis, which is now Atlantic Ocean.
Hmm. Which
That
is
was
that was the great flood that they talk about in the Bible.
no,
No? Oh, it's different.
yeah, that was the big flood. Yes, that those two are the biggest one, and then the third flood was the Noah flood.
Hmm.
That there must have been three parts. They haven't shared that as far as I know, but they shared the two one, and they never mentioned the Noah flood yet. So the Noah flood must be the third uh, piece of the firmament that fell down.
Mm.
So the thing is, but when the second flood happened, I think that happened with when the drowning of Atlantis.
Hmm.
The portals up to the cosmos was completely open, So that means that when it came down and hit the northern hemispheres, the bottom, the southern hemispheres and stuff like that, and way up and way down, there was people talking like you and me face to face. Flash froze into ice in
Wow.
an instant because the cosmos, the path up to the cosmos was totally open. There was no protection,
Mm.
and all of these things caused a lot of problems.
Hmm.
So, for example, before these incidents, there was no rain on the planet. For example, there was more. It's like when you are in places where there is a lot of moist, so
Right.
lots
Yeah.
of dusk and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it was but there was lakes and stuff like that, but then stuff like that, but there wasn't any rain, so to say. So they had those, that is the creators of the system, they had to recalibrate the whole planet and create a new system that included another way of doing it than the dusk way that they did before. I don't know if they call it the dusk way. That was just a made up thing I did now.
Hmm.
So so I think if I don't remember wrong, after the first of those floods, it took 100 years or something before the planet was able to stabilize itself, because it's a massive amount of water that came down. And it's like, if let's say you are being hit in the face by Mike Tyson, but you have a billion times stronger, it's not, it was not the dear mother thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so it was very, very devastating.
Hmm.
So, so, so where are we now? And now we have done the Atlantis drowned, and then we can go into the Hollow Earth. The main entrance to the Hollow Earth is a 1,400-mile opening, a circle on the top there, and also on the bottom, both 1,400 miles. So if you stand in a UFO, for example, in the middle of the North Pole, there is just empty, just a hole straight through the planet.
Hmm. Isn't there
So
a giant mountain there also called Black Rock? And that's the magnetic North Pole. That's where it actually comes from. That rock is magnetic.
yeah, but technically North Pole is just a big hole. So in the middle of that, but there is probably a black rock too. That is something I will not say yes or no to, because I know nothing about it.
Okay.
That is something you have to teach me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So
I've dug up that information. I don't remember where I got it from, but that's the reason why planes don't go over the North Pole, because the mountain's so high. It's bigger than Mount Everest.
that is not what I have heard. I've heard that when the airplanes, if they try to go over there, then the instruments on board will go crazy, because there is no reference point to the Earth crust,
Hmm. Hmm.
because there is the magnetism is different, because the magnetism is in the Earth crust in the
Hmm.
middle,
Hmm.
and then when you go on the middle there is no reference point to the surface anymore. So the instruments on board on the plane will go crazy,
Hmm.
go bananas, you can say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, everything, all the compasses and all the guidance systems are all based off of magnetic north, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you go up there, I mean, there's no reference point, like you said. So that's why
Yes.
they have so many issues.
Yeah, exactly. So and also that area is also related to, yeah, that I shouldn't mention. I think I should keep that quiet. Let me see. Where are we now? Yes. Yeah. So when you if you see that the Earth is like a hollow sphere, then the inner sun is in the middle, and the light in there, the sunlight there, is by the people that reside there is supposedly called the smoky god. And the reason for that name is because um, it's smoky because it's more dim, not so bright as it is on our sky.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, when we go in the northern and southern hemisphere and we observe the northern lights and stuff, that comes from the inner sun there. So it's still bright enough to see the lights shining through the north and the north and south pole,
Mm-hmm.
so to say.
Yeah, well, they actually made a movie too, Journey to the Center of the Earth, I think is what they called it.
Yeah, wasn't that was the Jules Verne's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was made in the 80s, I think, 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, that is based on this because the cabal thing, they have to tell us the truth, so to say, but
Mm-hmm.
they wrap it in Christmas Hollywood paper or something.
Yeah, fiction. They try to make it fiction, right? But
Yes,
a lot of it's truth.
yes, exactly.
Hmm.
And then pretty much all of it is true. The mainstream media is just lies
Hmm.
with the Christmas paper around it to make it look true, you know. So so let us go inside of the Hollow Earth a little bit. You have heard of Admiral Byrd?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, because you know he went in there.
Yeah, he flew his plane into there, didn't he?
Yeah, a small plane. Yes, he did, and exactly what I told you with the his instruments became totally inert
Hmm.
or just spinning around its own axis without doing anything.
Hmm.
So he was when he came in there, he was actually taken over by the force field in the Hollow Earth, so to say,
Hmm.
and he was led to a safe place to land, and he met with someone they called who was called a master. I don't think he wrote what his name was, but one of the masters, at least in there.
Hmm.
And have you heard the story about it?
I think, well, you were telling, I think, a little bit last time when we talked, but maybe tell it again because I think some more stuff has come out recently since his grandson posted the journal online, didn't he?
Yeah, there has been. I can tell you, Sora of Hollow Earth has shared a lot over the years,
Hmm.
more than I have shared because it's like, you know, I don't remember everything, you know. And I'm not mine is my experience is not self-experienced. Mine
Hmm.
is received from other vehicles, so to say.
Hmm.
But there was also a guy from my home country called Olaf Jansen and his father. They actually in their fishing boat went actually up north and came into the Hollow Earth and stayed there for I think 3 years or something before they came back again.
Hmm.
And he ended up in an asylum in Sweden of some kind of thing. And when he after some time he managed to get out of there, and then he moved to California
Hmm.
of all things.
Hmm.
And he shared his story, which became the Smoky God by Emerson, the author. I don't remember Emerson's first name, but maybe you remember.
I don't know. I don't.
He is a pretty famous author at that time, but I think that was around 1820 or something like that.
Okay.
So, but that is the book he Emerson wrote was called The Smoky God.
Hmm.
That is free online if you want to read it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can just go and find it online and type in The Smoky God on Scroogle.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then you post it there, and yeah, it's for free, so it doesn't.
Oh, it's by George Emerson.
Oh.
George Emerson was the name. Yes, that's correct.
So does each place have their own god or their own master, or how does that work?
You can say that all human beings are technically a god.
Okay.
So a woman is a goddess and a man is a god, but
Hmm.
they are not fully realized yet.
Hmm. Okay.
So we have the spirit part of us is made in the image of the
Hmm.
gods. So
Hmm.
we have been given all the gifts that they have. But the thing is, after the Anunnakis came to the earth, they screwed up a lot.
Hmm.
So they tricked us into their trickery, so to say, and separated. Before they came, you and me and everybody was androgynous beings,
Hmm.
and they separated the male part from the female part. So we
Oh,
became man woman.
okay. Hmm.
Yeah, so you can say uh, Adam didn't come first,
Uh-huh.
because when you separate something, it happens
Yeah.
at the same time.
Hmm. Hmm.
And both Adam and Eve came from the hollow earth
Okay.
to the surface.
Mm.
But also there is a reference in, I'm not sure if you are familiar with St. Germain's Press or books.
Not a lot.
Yeah, but there too, there is a reference to that the Garden of Eden also was in North America at some point.
I did hear, I heard something like it was like in Florida or somewhere. Someone's
Yeah,
claiming like in Florida.
yeah, I cannot answer that question, but I think it maybe was in the middle of something when you had some four rivers going in, yeah,
Yeah.
in certain directions. But this is a very long time ago,
Mhm, mhm,
so it is hard to say. But the last golden age of the earth we had 70,000 years ago, and that was located in the area we today call Sahara Desert,
mhm,
underneath the sand there.
mhm,
And there was also a minor golden age in Atlantis too, before they started to screw up the stuff
Hmm.
that they did.
You say, did you say the Sahara Desert, it was a golden age underneath there? Is that what you said?
Yeah, before it became Sahara Desert, and it was that's where the last big golden age was located. Yes.
Hmm.
What's interesting enough is my son is very spiritual and he's very powerful. And I'm from the Seattle area, but he was born in the Sahara Desert. Not in there, but you know what I mean? In that area.
Tunis.
No, no, he was born in Lancaster.
Oh, but what country is it in?
Oh, in the United States, yeah, California.
Oh, I thought you said he was born in Africa.
No, California.
Sahara Desert.
Oh, Sahara. Oh, I'm thinking of Sierra. No, right. I'm so sorry. Sierra Desert in California.
Yeah, I'm talking about Sahara Desert
Sahara
in
Desert. Okay.
Africa.
Oh, okay. So that's where
Yeah,
the golden age was. You said
yeah,
70,000 years ago?
that is correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's when the pyramids in Giza were first built, was during the Golden Age. And it activated the atmosphere, which allowed a higher level of consciousness at first. And then there is other pyramids in the Grand Canyon area, but they won't allow anyone to explore there. And that was like the big part of Egypt. And the things that we read, that's where it all is in America. It's not actually over in Cairo.
Yeah, I'm aware of that too, but I
Hmm.
haven't gone much into it. So there, feel free to teach me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go down there. And his name wasn't George Emerson, it was Willis George Emerson. Was his full name.
Willis.
Willis George Emerson, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think he had three names. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and the first book was made in 1908. It said it was published.
The book.
The book was published in 1908.
Yeah, but I think that Olaf Jansen came to United States around 1820. Am I wrong there, or?
I don't know. I was just kind of scrolling through it really quick. Said it was first published in 1908. And the book I posted, the link I posted online was copyrighted in 2013.
Yeah, but that is probably a reprint or re online,
Hmm. Hmm.
something like that. Redone online, I guess I should say. So back a little bit to the hollow Earth. So here we are in a place where it's extremely vibrant. Um, the life there is supposedly a watermelon can be as big as a car,
Hmm.
and super energized. And there is T-Rexes,
Hmm.
and the T-Rex and similar dinosaur beings,
Hmm.
they communicate with telepathy,
Hmm.
and they don't nothing there consume anything flesh.
Hmm.
Everything is vegan.
Hmm.
So the story about T-Rex to be a carnivore and that kind of stuff is
Hmm.
BS.
Yes.
Yeah, like everything else, they actually what is the reason why animals eat animals is because humans eat animals.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, they've inverted everything, right?
Yeah.
Everything
Pardon?
inverted everything. Like everything is like against nature. Like,
Yes,
and was that the Anunnaki that did that?
there has been that has maybe started before that because yeah, but I think the Anunnakis came later than probably a little bit before the biblical times.
Hmm.
I don't think it was the Anunnaki that did it. I believe it was the reptilians that did it. And they did it to make the humans more dense, is why they
Yeah,
wanted to start to consume animals and to do all that to so they weren't light beings and they weren't seeing through, the smoke and mirrors that they were really doing.
yeah, but I think the Anunnaki was a form of reptilian beings.
Well, that they were a higher dimensional being than the reptilians, and the reptilians learned a lot from them on how to dominate a race and how to keep them in servitude for their own agendas. And so
Yes,
the reptilians learned, and once the Anunnaki were forced out of the planet from the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and the Leons, they
Leons.
yeah, it's another alien race that they look like lions, but
Oh, okay.
they're like humans.
Yeah,
So
I know which one. I thought aren't they called something else too?
Lyrians, sorry, Lyrian,
Yeah, Lyrans.
Lyrans, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they forced them out of Earth, and then the reptilians, because of the vacuum of the that was left there when they left, they just took over that, and they first defeated the Lyrians, the Pleiadians, and the Arcturians in a massive battle for Earth, and so they just allowed them to have it, and now the reptilians lost very recently, like in 2020, they lost a battle, and so now they're forced out of the planet and just allowing the humans to naturally evolve into a 5D race for those
Yes.
that want to do it, for those that want to make that leap.
Yeah. It seems like there is a separation right now.
Hmm.
That's what it seems like, where a 3D Earth is established and then a 5D Earth. But I
Hmm.
think the 5D Earth is maybe more multifaceted than 5D. I think it can be 560, 70, 80, whatever.
Hmm.
And that can probably vary depending on where the student is at.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Hmm.
I think so
So,
too.
Yeah,
yeah,
the Arcturians and the Pleiadians and the Lyrians, they're more than impressed with how fast things are changing. They've never seen it happen in evolution in any other planet, any other, area where this has happened. It normally never happens this quick. And just the fact that, so many are coming out of the cocoon as fast as we are that they're they're more than overjoyed with it because they're just sitting back and they're watching it now unfold literally at light speed compared to normal evolution of how a species evolves into the next higher levels.
Where do you have the information from?
I don't know. Honestly, I just get it from everywhere like you. Like I just grab all this information
Yeah,
and I hear it and I really retain the information because I'm so interested in how all of this works and
yeah,
how.
me too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I started to study theosophy when I was around 28, and that I got from the same individual as that shared with the wizard, the herb wizard.
Mhm.
So he introduced me to that, and that led to one thing after the other.
Mhm.
So it was pretty intriguing. So I found a lot of truth and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it seemed like when there is a lot of light, it attracts darkness.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
So very often when you it's like when you start to study things like that, you also have to be aware of yourself too, because it stimulates all the
Mhm.
crap within oneself.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think there's the two really good movies that illustrate that really well is obviously Star Wars. We're here on May the 4th, which is Star Wars Day, and
Yes,
and also The Matrix. Like all four of those movies, they really illustrate the lightness, the light, and the darkness.
yeah,
And there needs to be a lot of awareness there, otherwise you can fall victim into the darkness.
exactly. And I think that is, if you take another movie that is also related in this category, I think that is The Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you you remember those orcs and stuff like that,
Hmm.
I think that is people that has taken things like the jabs and stuff like that
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
technically degenerated little by little into things they definitely do not want to become.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that is what has happened.
Hmm. Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that.
So when you see, you remember that second movie, The Two Towers.
Hmm.
Do you remember at the end of that movie, you have Gandalf that they are in the Helm's Deep or something,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they are being attacked by these beastie orcs and all kinds of these what do you call it, giants and all kinds of stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it looks very scary, and you can see that the the people who reside inside of the Helm's Deep, so in that mountain
Hmm. Hmm.
fortress or something in the mountain there, when it looks like all hope is gone, still those main actors in the movie still keep up the torque and inspired to continue the fight, so to say.
Hmm.
But
Mhm.
when it looks like on the darkest, you see that Gandalf has turned into the white
The White
Gandalf.
Wizard. Yeah, the White Wizard. Hmm.
Yes, and then he come down with his an army of angelic beings and his staff that lights up like a sun.
Hmm.
And then those orcs just run away like scaredy cats.
Hmm. Yep, they
And
know
that
it.
is kind of a symbol of those things where
Hmm.
when the real forces is there is technically no chance. But
Hmm.
there is a few individuals that has the faith that everything will go fine as long as they don't um, allow themselves to be taken down. Let's really stand up, whatever comes against them.
Hmm. Yeah, darkness is the absence of light,
Yes,
right? So that's where darkness comes from. So as long as, you hold that light, darkness can never overtake light, right? Light will always
yes,
overtake darkness.
yes,
Hmm.
exactly. So it is some cool movies.
Hmm. Yeah, it illustrates it really well, you know, and
Yeah,
it's and for anyone watching this, I'd highly recommend to start watching a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s, because I mean they illustrate so many things, even movies in the 2000s. I mean, there's some really good ones that they basically spell it out for you. And if you're
Oh
paying
yes,
attention to it, you know, it's a blueprint basically on what to do and how to, activate yourself basically if you want to.
yeah, exactly. It is pretty cool. So I want to go back into the Hollow Earth again.
Hmm. Yes.
Uh, that's the main topic, you know. Um, so we talked about the lushness of uh, nature in there, so to say, that is in perfect harmony. But there is also, have I told you about the library of Portal Logos?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that is a, a huge library in somewhere in the Hollow Earth, and that library you can basically go and find information about any place or space in the whole of the universe, and everything
What's
is
it like? What
stored.
is it like? Physical books or what is it? Is it just like
No, it's digital.
yeah, like a way to like download it right into
You can
your.
download it, and or you can actually, let's say that let's say that we go forward in time, and let's say that all the ice on the Earth is melted,
Hmm.
and let's say that you and me are in that future reality. And then we go into the Hollow Earth and we go into this library. And then we can go into a holographic theater there. And that holographic theater, let's say you and me decide that we want to go and go skiing in the Alps in the 1980s.
Hmm.
Then you can actually do that
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
experience how it was in the 80s there.
Hmm.
And then I don't think that if we see people there, I don't think they will see us, but we will see them
Hmm. Yeah, that's
because
where a lot of time travelers that's when they talk about that, right? Is they show up and then as fast as they show up, they're like just disappeared again because they're just going in and out of those different
portals.
timelines. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
That
interesting.
can,
And that's
it's
like the
very,
movie The Matrix too, because The Matrix in there, it's just like, it's just like they're talking to the operator, hey, I need a download on how to fly this helicopter. And it's just like "Drrrr," and it's okay, now I know how to fly this helicopter. That's kind of what you're talking about, isn't it?
yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it is very intriguing. So, but in that library, absolutely everything is stored.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is technically what we have, we that is into the alternative way of thinking on the surface of the earth, what we call the Akashic records.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the library there is the same as the Akashic record. I'm not 100% sure, but I am pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it makes sense to me that that's what it is. And
Yeah,
your consciousness can tap into it if you're trained and you know how to do it. And
yeah,
I know there's people that offer schools and teachings to get into the Akashic records. But
yeah.
so I do know people can tap into it though.
And also, have I told you about the New Jerusalem?
Or that's in America, is it not?
Nope.
Oh, where is it?
It is actually a spaceship,
Oh, interesting.
and that spaceship is the size of United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
where is it
massive.
located? Where is it located?
Yeah, you can say it is 12 stories tall,
Uh-huh.
and it looks like a shiny star, so to say, from where we are
Uh-huh.
here on the surface of the Earth, and it is normally parked in front of planet Venus, and
Hmm.
that is why Venus looks so bright. But if you want to, I can send you the NASA, never a straight answer.
Not a space agency.
Ah,
Not a space agency.
exactly. I call it never a straight answer. It's a joke.
Yeah, send me
Yeah.
the article. I'd love to read it.
Yeah, yeah, it's not an article. I just have a photo of it where it
Oh,
shows what this little schematic. It's a little small print, but I think you maybe get it.
Sure.
Yeah, so that
Absolutely.
is placed in front of planet Venus, and that is where, let's say you have an out of body experience, and let's say you are in a big car accident or something like that, and you're out of your body. Where you go then is most likely to the New Jerusalem. That's
Mhm.
where you meet the Creator and everything, or Jesus, Jeshua and Joseph, stuff like that. There's a very, very high vibe. So Jeshua and Joseph, that people call Jesus, he is the admiral of that ship.
Mm.
Yeah. But when they come with these ships to the Earth, they can't have such a big ship because that'll probably create a lot of panic
Yeah, absolutely.
because it's so massive.
hmm
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Cool.
yeah, so there's also in the Hollow Earth, there's also mammoths and yeah, all kinds of stuff, prehistoric animals and stuff like that. So it's pretty intriguing place. But if you are coming down here at some point, I would be happy to go and research some hotels in the area here.
Yeah. I got to get past the immigration part first. So,
Immigration part?
yeah, for me,
Or why? What
um,
you mean by that?
well, they gave me a 5-year ban from entering the imaginary line in North America.
From an air company?
No, no, from the actual Border Patrol.
So they don't allow you to go into United States?
No.
Or why?
It's just they said I was working illegally in the United States, is what they said.
Oh, wow.
So I have an online company, and I had one transaction that went through. It wasn't even technically my business or my Stripe account, but they're saying that um, it's they're holding it on me is basically. So they've given me a 5-year ban, so I got to fight it
Because you sold one product to United States?
because I had one client that I met in the United States, and he sent me in donation $200. And they're saying that's me working illegally in the United States.
Oh, when you were here?
And I was in the States at the time. Yeah, that's me working there illegally.
Oh, but that's like a little complaining about the peanut.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow. That's it's
Yeah,
like
so anyways, it's a long story, but it's quite a joke, and I've challenged the Border Protection Agency on it, and anyways, they just like to make up their own rules, and so now I'd have to hire a lawyer uh to go in there and actually sue them for making up their own laws because they're not even following the laws anymore. Which I mean, they don't technically don't have to. I mean, that's a whole other subject that we can get into.
have you heard of for the claim of the life.com?
Uh-huh, I have.
Have you done the paperwork for that?
No, that's with Russell J. Gould. So that's the next thing. I'm claiming my
Yeah,
sovereignty right now. I'm going through that process. And that'll be the next thing that I do is to go through that. And once I take myself out of their jurisdiction, I mean, they won't have jurisdiction over me, which is through what's it called? Maritime law.
exactly. I can explain that all that stuff for you, but the only thing I have done the paperwork.
Yeah. And you went through the process, and did it take you very long to do it or no?
It took me actually a year to do it,
Oh wow.
but you don't have to take that long. It was just because I'm very busy with
Mm-hmm.
my business and family and all that kind of stuff in my home
Mm-hmm.
country and also here. But the thing is, after I got it, I have kind of I have not told the system that I have done it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the reason for that is the busyness of life, but there's also another thing that is the same important, and that is I cannot articulate myself or stand my ground in quantum grammar.
Exactly.
So when I cannot do that, then it's hard to kind of stand up against the maritime law crap.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm getting very fluent with it and I'm getting pretty good with I'm not an expert by any means, but definitely I'm getting closer. So I've been studying this now since the last time we spoke. I started in like 2019, learning on all of this stuff, and it does take some
Yeah,
time to learn how it all works.
exactly. I don't know when I came in contact with Russell J. Gould, but it has been a long time. But it took me a pretty long time to kind of get my ass out and apply,
Hmm.
because I think I got it in return. It's either last last May or last April or something, or the 2 years ago. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Time is kind of a little like a blur at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, it's just, and I think, regardless if you do it or you don't do it, the military, the maritime law stuff, I believe is just going to crumble because it's made up of lies. It's made up of,
Yeah,
so many things that, are made for control. And, that's not what, if people when people know and enough people pull out of their system, it collapses their system, right? They
it
don't have
will.
control over the people anymore.
Exactly. And I think it's very important to stay away from those things with real ID and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. All right, so I know we've been going for a while. Anything else that we need to talk about with Hollow Earth that you want to add in?
Yes, I have one more thing I want to share with you, maybe two. One of them is the thing with the sun. Did I tell you about that?
The Smoky Sun?
No,
Oh,
our sun on the sky.
our sun? I think I know what you're going to say, but I'll let you say it.
Yeah, so according to Sora and these guys, they say that the temperature of the sun is 74 Fahrenheit degrees.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so when they talk about solar flares and sunspots and that kind of stuff, it's just holes in the hologram in front of the sun
Yes.
to trick us into believing that the sun is hot.
Yeah,
But what
it's not 93 million miles away. It's localized, the sun.
yeah, it is a planet actually,
Hmm.
and what heats up the earth is not the heat from the sun, it is the light from the sun. And when the light hits the atmosphere work like a magnifying glass.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then if there was zero pollution in the stratosphere and air layers and all that kind of stuff, all the layers of above the earth crust, if if there was no pollution there, the temperature on the earth too would be 74 Fahrenheit degrees everywhere, including the North Pole, the South Pole, and Himalayas or stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, so you can say pretty much it is fabricated, all of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
all by those beings that created the disasters 13 and 12,000 years ago and the times after that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No,
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one.
So it's pretty interesting
Hmm.
to think about.
Hmm.
But if they didn't spray all these chemicals into it that the reptilian, draconian, archon beings have been doing over a very long time, it would have been a much better place.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have exciting times ahead of us, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm really, really excited for where we're headed. What we've been through and the massive propaganda that has been going on. And there's a lot of people that have seen through it, and there's more and more people that are, fully waking up and stepping into, their full sovereignty, first of all, and then also into their light being. And I believe that the natural way very soon will be a lot of telepathy and telekinesis,
Yes,
where a lot of that is going to really, really come back into,
yes,
full scope
exactly.
of everyone, accessing all of their senses and all of their skills.
Exactly, and that is you probably know about the med beds and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yep.
That is also a part of this.
Yes. Yep.
So
So
we've
we
been
will
trying to get
see.
our hands on one of them.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I said we're trying to get our hands on one of them.
Oh, I don't think you can.
Not right now. Yeah, no, not right now.
I think it is the military that runs that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're selecting people based on their knowledge and based on their kind of light being score, and they have a way of doing it of selecting people to run them so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands again and doesn't get all out of whack.
Exactly.
mhm,
It seems like those devices cannot be misused by those that has been in charge of the planet
Hmm.
right. Exactly.
because of misuse of adrenochrome and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
don't want any of that anymore. Um,
Exactly. That's disgusting.
it's so disgusting. So like, say somebody gets to Hollow Earth. I mean, would we be welcomed openly, or would it be kind of like they're like, oh, there's a foreigner here?
If you can stay in 5D or higher,
Hmm.
shouldn't be
Hmm.
any problem. But the thing is, if let's say I am from there, and then I meet you, and you ask me that question.
Uh-huh.
So I guess it also depends on if you still have a purpose here on the.
Uh-huh.
Let's say you have a contract to be here and fulfill that contract. So if you have not fulfilled it, then I guess you probably have to go back.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just wondering, like, if we went to visit to see how it is, like, would we be welcomed in and then
Yeah, if you have found your way in there, I'm sure they will be very welcoming.
okay, yeah,
They don't treat anyone with any bad or of any kind,
good, nice. Okay, good.
as
Very high.
far as I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they're not hostile, I guess, is what Amanda's trying to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Well,
are.
like you go other places, like, what are you doing here, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like, oh,
Oh, I
so-
just found a way into the back door.
yeah, yeah, I'm here now. Welcome
Yeah,
you. Okay,
I ran
well,
away from the lions.
yeah, yeah. Well, you go to different countries and you're not treated very nicely. So, even just here on Earth. And I know, I mean, different dimensions and,
Yeah, exactly.
different people's energies and frequencies, but still, you wouldn't want someone to think that you're, there to invade or cause harm.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
must say, I was very well treated in the American embassy in Oslo. They were stellar, but
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard to get in. But when I got in, it was excellent.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
when they told us the recipe that I told you in the beginning of this talk.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to do the paperwork, you just have to, if you want to get into the United States, you have to marry in the country that the other person is from.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I married Amanda, but I already had my 5 year
Yeah,
ban
but
off.
did you marry her in Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to.
We
Yeah,
had to
that
kiss
is the
people.
best way because then you can get it very quickly. But the thing is, if you have that issue that you told me about, then it's you have to wait.
Yes. Yeah, well, there's I won't go into it, but yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah,
So, Einar, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming on and, giving us your wisdom onto Hollow Earth. I'm always just blown away every time, we talk. I mean, you post so many good things in our Q group that is just, really interesting. And, I think for a while you were getting some stuff off the dark web. I don't think you've really been on the dark web lately, have you?
I haven't been on a dark web at all, but maybe
Oh.
one or two times I tried, but it didn't work out for me.
Oh, okay. I thought you were posting some articles from there when we first got started from the dark web.
Maybe I did, but I can't say yes or no to that that
Okay.
question because I've been into so many things over the years.
Yeah.
But I know I've tried to get in there, but those times I tried, I don't think I succeeded very
Mm.
Okay.
much.
Okay.
So
So, but maybe you can share a little bit about that.
I have one more question before we let you go. But if you were to pick, one healing method or modality or whatever, how you healed yourself, did you say the name of that, or what would you suggest other people looking into?
Yeah, that the main thing that healed me back in the times was the herbal broth teas that I used. That was
Mm-hmm.
given to me from my first teacher in life. When I say first teacher, I don't talk about school teachers and stuff like
Yeah,
that, but those that really make a
like,
difference.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
he,
like Adam and I. We want to make a big difference, We want to heal
yeah,
people, mind, body, and soul. And that's our divine mission.
yeah. But the thing is, when it comes to healing modalities, there is, I have almost a CU to be able to share it
Okay, gotcha.
because it's easier that way. I maybe could do it over a media like this, but
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, you cannot come here. Is that correct?
I can. I am in Seattle.
Yeah, you can, but
I can go
you
anywhere.
cannot.
No, Adam right now cannot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's tricky. So I have to come and visit Vancouver.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
have
Yeah.
two reasons to do that.
Yeah.
I have another friend of mine from there too.
Hmm.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is from Denmark.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it's a beautiful place.
I'm sure. It's
Adam and I
some.
are making the best of it. I go up every chance I get. Usually it's like every other weekend. But we're just making the best of it.
Yeah, because Seattle is in Washington, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yes.
So how far away are you from each other?
An
Oh,
hour or two,
well,
roughly.
it
Oh,
depends.
that's not too
Well,
bad.
it's if I was to go to him all the way to where he's at, it's a little over 3 hours. That's
Oh, okay.
with a ferry ride. But normally we try to meet like halfway in the middle. So like he's traveling like an hour and a half. I'm traveling an hour and a half. Well, I'm actually traveling 2.5 hours. You are too, right? With everything. So
Mhm.
yeah, so maybe 2.5 hours travel time for the both of us.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah,
So
so you don't go to Canada then?
me?
Yes,
Oh,
Amanda,
I do. Mhm.
yeah,
you do that too. Yes. Okay, good.
Yeah. Every chance I get, we go up there.
Yeah. What year are you guys born in?
Me?
76. I was born in
Oh,
76.
era. Oh,
76?
Yeah,
uh-huh.
70.
And you too?
77.
Ah, okay, yeah. So 76, that means that's 9 years after me. That means we have the same numerology.
Oh,
Mm.
oh, nice.
Yeah, because there is only nine numbers,
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
plus the zero in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a
I'm
way.
I'd like to talk more about that too on another like numerology and like astrology and getting back to like the original calendar with the 13 months and the 28 days and how does that all I mean I don't know Adam and I have these kind of questions like
Yeah,
well
that
what
is a kind of I have a that is something I have not I have been into that for a very very long time,
hmm
if
but it is a little bit uh, tricky too in a way because it's a little bit confusing
hmm
because we have the Julian calendar and we have the
yeah
Gregorian calendar and we have followed
right
that bullshit Gregorian calendar.
yeah yeah
hmm
But the thing is, the Julian calendar is also called a moon calendar.
hmm
right yeah
But the thing is, the moon is just like a hollow metal moon.
hmm
So if
hmm
you
and we're
stand on
not
a
following the
moon,
real moon yeah
huh?
We're not following the real moon our real right because that's been hijacked
Yeah, that is just a hollow sphere
yeah
made of metal. So if you throw a rock on it, it'll sound like a bell.
hmm
yeah yeah yeah
But but it is technically the place has been the space for the dark forces, so to say, to spy on us.
hmm Yeah, it's
hmm
like a giant satellite that they're using.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can say when there is full moon, that means that the energy of the moon is kind of shut off by the sunlight.
hmm
Hmm
And people feel it's really powerful during the full moons and the new moons and
Yeah, it is very it brings the junk to the surface,
Mhm.
or it amplifies the good side.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
It
Mhm.
does.
What calendar do you think that everyone should follow? Like the Jewish calendar.
I think it is the moon calendar is the one that we should use. Yes, but
Yeah.
also you also have to take into consideration things like, for example, if you take Joshua ben Joseph, he
Mhm.
was not born on the 25th of December.
Right, yeah.
He
Mhm.
was born on the 25th of April.
Oh, 25th of April. Well, you
Yeah,
know, people have said so many different, they've said April, they said June, they said September, you know what I mean?
yeah. September I've heard before. I haven't heard June, but it was. But the reason why I mentioned the 25th of April is because that is what Sora shared.
Okay.
I've
And
heard
you
it
call
was
it
Yeah,
September 11th. I've heard it was September 11th is when he was born.
September.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
that one
September
I have
11th.
heard too.
Yeah.
You're calling him Yeshua ben Joseph?
Yeah, that's Jesus.
Yeah. I just want to make sure um that I heard you.
Jeshua is spelled Y
Yeah,
E S H U A.
yeah, Yeshua, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and
son of Joseph.
September isn't the ninth month, so it's not 911, it was 711, right?
Oh. Mm.
Sept is seven, right? In many languages. So that's what I heard. He was born on the seventh month, the 11th day, 7/11. That's where it comes from.
Mm.
7/11 is my mom's birthday,
Hmm.
Mm.
actually.
I
But
think that's my grandma's birthday too. I'd have to look it up. My great grandma.
I don't go deep into the religions, and I mean I know surface stuff, but I'm sure if I went down that rabbit hole, I could probably figure out a whole bunch of things if I really, really wanted to. I just know that most religions are about control, and
Yes, exactly.
it's not anything else.
Yeah, I have left the religion I grew up with. I left that when I was 28,
Hmm.
about the same time as I got into the
Healing.
more esoteric teachings that I started with around that time.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I I was very happy when I did that. I
Yeah,
still have no religion. I don't want a religion, and I'm very happy as I am.
Yeah.
yeah. Just be connected to our creator, to source. I mean, that,
Yes, that's the only thing you need, connection to
yeah.
your majestic I am presence. That is the goddess or God self within ourselves.
Hmm. Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and the bridge to that entity is the most important thing if you to build that bridge.
Well, I
Mhm.
think we're going to open a can of worms if we keep going down this rabbit hole because we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of other things, and
I know. We'll
this
have
will
to
be another late. Yeah, we'll have to pick it up and we'll have to do some more of this again because I'm sure we can just kind of talk and talk about all these different things and go down these little rabbit holes of everything that we've learned over the last 6 or 7 years that we've been talking.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, I started, when I was 20.
Oh wow.
Yeah, on this journey. It was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
Mm-hmm.
I've had many
I, I'm, I'm
teachers
gonna
since that first one.
I'm gonna sign us off,
Yes,
and I appreciate your time. And thank you so much for, coming on and giving us your wisdom on Hollow Earth. I'm always, intrigued and learning and love kind of your insights to everything. So, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to Lightworker's Secret to Success, make sure that you do
let
and
me do
follow
that right
us.
away. Where do I find this?
We're on YouTube. So if you just want to go on YouTube,
Let me go
Lightworker's Secrets to Success, follow
You
and
see.
like us.
you sent Einar
Light.
the
Should I write it within one word or
It's exactly how it is right behind me. Lightworker's Secret to Success.
light worker secrets or workers?
S.
Worker, yeah, with an
Worker secrets.
to
Mm-hmm.
success. Yeah,
Secrets.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
secrets to success.
It says secrets of a superpower.
No, there's a different one. Yeah, we've had this channel for so long, and there's been many other people coming around.
It asks me, did you mean light worker in one word and then secrets?
Yeah, Lightworkers Secrets to Success.
Ah,
It should look like exactly like my background looks.
Does it still look like that?
Secret to Success.
Secrets to Success.
Lightworker. Lightworker is in one word.
Lightworkers is one word, yes.
Lightworker Secrets to Success.
And it's TO because there's someone else that came on after and put a 2.
Yeah, it says that this one here, it's if there's no two or anything like that afterwards.
It's TO. Yeah,
Oh,
TO.
is it two or without two?
With
Yeah.
it, two, with two.
TO.
Secrets to Success. Yeah, that's the one I have, I think.
Yeah. Can you see it like here? If I can get it.
This is the
Yeah.
one I have.
Is that it? I think so.
Is it too
Yeah.
close or?
I think so, yeah. It should say on there. Yeah, I think that's it. Yep, it looks like it. Yep.
Then I click subscribe
Sure.
Yeah.
and
I also
view
put it,
channel.
I also put our channel in the chat for us too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll post
Yeah.
this video, Einar, so you can see it. And if you want to share it around to your circle of people, you can do
Of
that.
course, I can do that.
Okay. Well,
That's
thank you.
wonderful.
All right.